Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. It's great to have you along for another hour. Really appreciate all of you so much. Let's start with the President's True Social account, because this is a story that's just been very much on my mind. The killing of this young Ukrainian woman. So the president is saying the animal who so violently killed the beautiful young lady from Ukraine who came to America searching for peace and safety should be given a quick, there is no doubt, trial and only awarded the death penalty. There can be no other option, the president's saying. So he's calling for the death penalty for this young man in the wake of this. And it'll be of, what are your thoughts on that? It's one of those, I would find it very, very hard to argue against it. The death penalty for this guy, given his history and what we're learning. There is some video at the New York Post this morning. As I'm going to show this, and I want to just warn you, if you find these things distasteful, you're not going to see him stab her. She's already been stabbed. Okay, she's already been stabbed, and then he walks through the light rail system, through the car, with the knife dripping blood throughout multiple cars, and it is pretty crazy. So this is, I'm going to increase the size of the screen here too so you can see it. Here we go. He's already stabbed her. She's been stabbed. And that knife is dripping blood, as you see. It's everywhere. So now through one car, and it's just incredible. He really must have. And people are wondering, they don't know. People didn't know even what was going on. Happened so quickly. Look at all that blood. Wow, it is just absolutely incredible. That guy is. So the president's calling for the death penalty. And this is the photo, really, that it just broken my heart, of her looking up at him. No idea of what's going on. This guy is just absolutely crazy out of his mind. So this story is just one of those that yanks at my heart. So there is, forgive me, I grabbed this story earlier. More on this. So he thought he was, she was reading his mind. This is according to his sister. So the sister of this accused killer is saying this, and she had an issue with her brother, and she talks about it. He assaulted her in a 2022 attack that saw him bite her, break a door. She said her brother is a paranoid schizophrenic who told her multiple times that the government had implanted a chip in him. And she told CNN, a person that is hearing voices in their head and believes the world is against them, they're going to break. And I think that night he broke. So this is his sister talking about what he had done to her previously and whether or not we're seeing more of the same in this killing. And it really, really takes your breath away. So this is a story from the New York Post. Just not a lot of reaction from Democrats. I'm not going to. It's the same video I've already shown you. New York Post saying liberal media politicians have been accused of staying silent on the murder of this young woman. And there she is prior to the stabbing. And there you can see he's got the knife in his hand right there. And he gets up and look at that. I mean, that is just, it makes your blood run cold. She never even saw it coming. So she was totally unaware of what was going on. And then he wanders through the train, as I just showed you. There's the trail of blood from his knife all over the floor of the train. And then his hoodie was bloody. And that video that I just showed you, you see him removing his hoodie at the end because his hoodie was bloody. And he waited for the train to pull into the station, and then he took off. Of course, they found him later. But Charlotte's mayor is a Democrat, thanked publications that chose to keep the video from the public. I've shared that with you previously. She was out there thanking them for keeping a lid on this story, which is absolutely incredible, which the media was only too happy to do. Now, isn't that something? You have the mayor saying, no, we don't want to, we don't want details out. We're looking out for the family. It's all about the family. We've got to protect the family. Please don't show the video. So they were only too happy to hide it from you, and there he is. So this is the mayor who said the video of the attack that took her life is now public. I want to thank our media partners and community members who have chosen not to repost or share the footage out of respect for Irina's family. Oh, that's not why they hid it. That's not why it was hidden. And then you've got Republicans who are pushing back on this. Representative Brad Knott of North Carolina saying the mayor's refusal to condemn senseless, horrific, and preventable violence is as telling as it is despicable. Violent criminals, regardless of who they are or what they look like, need to be in jail. And so the mayor's office refusing to respond, and there she is again. Such a beautiful young woman. It's just incredible tragedy. So then a candidate for Charlotte City Council is talking about it, saying her death is a tragedy we cannot ignore. Who's riding without paying? Are they the ones causing problems? We need answers. So there's been a lot of focus on the rail system. Elon Musk called out what he said was a lack of courage of covering the killing by the mainstream media. Reshared a post counting how many articles the outlets had written about the stabbing, along with the comment 0. Now, I shared that with you in an earlier edition of the 4th hour. I think that was at either Town Hall or PJ Media has been right on top of this story. So she was wearing her work uniform from Zappetti's Pizza, which is a restaurant in Charlotte, when she was attacked. And the restaurant even is responding, saying that our family suffered a tremendous loss. We not only lost an incredible employee, but a true friend. Our dear Irina left this world far too soon. Our hearts are heavy with grief. Since her passing, we have kept a candle burning in her memory, a small reminder of the warmth, kindness, and light she brought into our lives every single day. So Brown is homeless, has more than a dozen convictions going back to 2014, and I've talked about that in detail. So that story is just one that continues to break my heart, and it's incredible that you had the mayor of Charlotte who was thanking media outlets for not sharing that. You know, that stuff is difficult to watch, and I don't show it to you for any kind of shock value. I showed it to you because you deserve to know what's going on and what kind of crimes are happening that too many are just willing to sweep under the rug. They just want to sweep it under the rug. They don't want to they don't want you to see it. They don't want to be, have to react to it. And that's where you hear the mayor of Charlotte who's thanking media outlets for not doing their damn job. It just is baffling to me. So Kamala Harris is back in the headlines. She's going scorched earth on Joe Biden's decision to run for a second term. This is her upcoming book, 107 Days, was obtained by The Atlantic, a truly despicable outlet, today. And she's saying, was it grace or was it recklessness? In retrospect, I think it was recklessness. So she writes of her decision not to convince Biden to drop out of the race sooner. The stakes were simply too high. This wasn't a choice that should have been left to an individual's ego, an individual's ambition. It should have been more than a personal decision. So she said nothing, of course, during all of this. She is now defending her decision because she's a loyal person. America, we could have had a loyal person as president. Thank God we missed that one. So she's talking about it, just makes you shake your head. One other national story, and then I want to cover a few statewide things for you here coming up this morning. Yesterday, ABC News chief correspondent Pierre Thomas reported a ride-along that he took with federal agents. This is in Chicago, Operation Midway Blitz. And he said, the focus today was arresting alleged violent criminals. He said the first phrase of Operation Midway Blitz appears to be focusing on what they call criminals who are undocumented. So this was on World News Tonight. The governor of Illinois, that's what the administration is saying. And even this is what ABC News is saying. But you got the governor of Illinois, who's again another nut, saying the operation striking fear in the hearts of many law-abiding immigrants. Listen to the way that they phrase it, law-abiding immigrants. They're not law-abiding. They didn't come into the country legally. And they're not. They love to use the term immigrants rather than illegal aliens. That's what they are. They're illegal aliens. And we're going to call it out here. We're going to continue to call it out, both on the radio show and here. I think there are just far too few voices who are willing to do that. As we see even, the mayor of Charlotte asking the media not to share that story. I mean, what's going on in the country is just really disturbing to many of us. Okay, I also mentioned that I wanted to cover a couple of state stories for you. And I'm reading off of my notes here as we take a look at the new prison in South Dakota and the need for a new prison. Attorney General Marty Jackley. This is a news release from the governor that I received about a half hour ago or so. Attorney General Marty Jackley, 3 South Dakota Law Enforcement Association issued statements of support for the new prison plan. The South Dakota State Attorneys Association, the South Dakota Sheriff's Association, and the South Dakota Police Chiefs Association agreed on the significant need for a new prison, encouraging lawmakers to move forward with the proposed plan. Attorney General Marty Jackley said and by the way, he launched his new campaign for Congress in Sturgis yesterday. More on that in a moment. But Marty Jackley saying the building of a new prison at a reasonable cost that is respectful of taxpayer dollars will help ensure our correctional system is equipped to meet today's challenges. The construction of a new prison is not about expanding incarceration. It's to replace an outdated facility, address overcrowding and some of the other issues that we have talked about. South Dakota Police Chiefs Association President Jason Foote said, "Our first duty is the safety of our communities," which is nice to hear our elected leaders who are talking that way about the safety of communities versus what we were just discussing going on in Charlotte, North Carolina. Incredible. Anyway, the president of the Police Chiefs Association saying South Dakota needs a secure, modern, and humane facility, keeps our community safe, protects staff, treats those in custody with dignity. Also, you had the South Dakota Police Chiefs Association, also, I just mentioned them, the South Dakota State Attorneys Association was also in favor of this. So you're getting a lot of support that the state needs a new prison. I don't know why some people are opposing that. Why some state lawmakers are opposing a new prison. That to me just defies, any kind of common sense. And then I will share a story. Marty Jackley, as I mentioned, announcing his congressional run in his hometown. This was yesterday. So he officially announced his run for U.S. House of Representatives. And he said, "It's such a wonderful opportunity to come back to the Black Hills and announce my run for Congress. I plan to work hard and make South Dakota proud," which I absolutely believe he will. I will tell you very forthright. I'm a big supporter of Marty Jackley's. I have been for a long time. I would have liked to see him run for governor. I think he would have been an outstanding governor for our state. He is headed for the House of Representatives. And he says it's about public safety. It's about a strong national defense, securing that border, government accountability, finding those opportunities for our youth, economic opportunities across the state. So Jackley is the first to declare his candidacy in the congressional race, and I wish him the best because I've talked to him a number of times, and he's somebody that. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. I get calls when I'm doing this. Normally, I try to mute the phone. Okay, let's leave it there for today without that incessant blaring of the phone. Drives me absolutely crazy. You have made it to the end of the video, so you are part of my gallery of champions. Special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks who are here each and every day. And I was hoping to share a few comments, but we're running long. We're at about the 20-minute marks today. So let's call that a wrap. I will see you back here again tomorrow. Hope to see you then. Until then, I'm underground and gone.